Hi there, and welcome to the Celeb Tea. Kanye West has never been one to shy away from controversy, but his latest documentary, In Whose Name, takes things to an entirely new level. This film is not just bold, it's explosive, raw, and at times deeply unsettling. From the moment it begins, you're drawn into Kanye's world, a chaotic mix of personal revelations, high-stakes confrontations, and unfiltered emotions. One of the most jaw-dropping moments features Kanye in a face-to-face clash with Kris Jenner, the formidable matriarch of the Kardashian-Jenner empire. The scene is intense and uncomfortable, showcasing a side of both of them that audiences have rarely seen. In the confrontation, Kris tries her best to defuse the situation, using her usual calm and strategic demeanor. But Kanye's energy is unrelenting. He's visibly frustrated, raising his voice and refusing to back down. The cameras capture him at a level 10, while Kris remains composed, as if she's been through storms like this before. The scene doesn't feel staged. It feels like a genuine eruption, the kind of moment you'd expect to be cut out of a polished documentary. Yet here it is, front and center, daring viewers to question why Kanye would ever choose to include it. The entire documentary plays like a highlight reel of Kanye clashing with those closest to him. Friends, collaborators, and family members are shown scrambling to keep the peace, while Kanye seems determined to push every boundary. It's messy, raw, and strangely intimate. Watching it, you get the sense that Kanye is intentionally showing the world his unfiltered self, as if he wants us to witness his unraveling. At one point, he's screaming in Kris Jenner's face, shouting, "It does matter." The camera lingers on the chaos, making it impossible to look away. You're left wondering, is this calculated vulnerability, or is Kanye simply unable to hide who he truly is anymore? The power dynamics in the scene are just as fascinating as the emotions. Kris Jenner is no stranger to conflict. She runs the Kardashian brand like a tightly controlled empire, ensuring that her children, Kim, Kourtney, Khloe, Kendall, Kylie, and even Rob, know exactly where the boundaries are. None of them would ever dare to speak to her with the level of intensity Kanye displays. If the roles were reversed and Kris was the one confronting Kanye, there's little doubt she would have snapped back without hesitation. Yet in this moment, she stays calm, almost maternal, even as Kanye's words grow sharper. What's striking is how Kris, who often comes across as a behind-the-scenes strategist, emerges here as a stabilizing force. She isn't just a manager or a mother, she's someone who, even under fire, maintains her composure. You can see why so many people, from her children to their partners, run to her for direction. She knows how to hold control, even as everything around her threatens to explode. It's hard to imagine sitting through a grown man screaming in your face and not retaliating, but Kris manages it, and in doing so, she reveals just how seasoned she is at managing chaos. One viewer comment from social media perfectly sums up this moment. If this is what Kanye chose to show us, imagine what he decided to leave out. That observation hits hard because it's true. If this footage, full of shouting matches, breakdowns, and power struggles, is what made the final cut, how much darker and more damaging must the unseen clips be? What other messy, potentially career-threatening material lies locked away in a vault somewhere? The documentary doesn't just dwell on Kanye's confrontations with the Kardashian family. It also spans key years of his life, from 2018 to 2024, pulling back the curtain on pivotal events that shaped his public image. One of the standout segments covers his infamous appearance on Saturday Night Live. Kanye candidly explains to the cameras how he felt ostracized and bullied for wearing his now infamous red Trump hat. He recounts how people backstage told him not to wear it and accused him of throwing them under the bus during his performance. Tensions boiled over behind the scenes, particularly between Kanye and SNL cast member Michael Che. Che confronted Kanye after the show, accusing him of being disloyal and foul for blindsiding the cast. The air was so thick with tension you could cut it with a knife. This backstage meltdown marks one of the most telling points in the documentary, illustrating Kanye's skill at flipping the narrative. He has a pattern of delivering cold, cutting remarks and then casting himself as the victim, a dynamic that's as frustrating as it is fascinating to watch. The SNL scenes also reveal a deeper side to Kanye's mindset. He claims he was bullied and silenced for expressing his views, telling the cameras, "They said, don't go out there with that hat on. They bullied me backstage. They call it the sunken place, but do you want to see the sunken place?" Okay, it's at this point that Kanye leans into his Superman analogy, saying he's putting on his cape to show the world he won't be controlled. This is classic Kanye, defiant, dramatic, and unyielding, no matter how controversial his choices may be. As the documentary progresses, the layers of Kanye's personality and public persona begin to peel back. Viewers are taking on a roller coaster ride of highs and lows, moments of genius and breakdowns that make you question where his artistry ends and his struggles begin. What's most striking is how unapologetic Kanye is in presenting these moments. He doesn't edit out the awkward silences, the shouting, or the meltdowns. He places them on display as if daring us to judge him. This willingness to show vulnerability makes the documentary feel less like a carefully curated film and more like a raw video diary. Kanye isn't interested in looking polished. He's interested in being real, even if that reality is messy, controversial, and, at times, uncomfortable to watch. The inclusion of his personal outbursts, like screaming at Kris Jenner or clashing with fellow artists, raises the question, does Kanye want sympathy, or does he simply want validation for being unapologetically himself? One of the more emotional segments focuses on Kanye's family, particularly his relationship with Kim Kardashian and their children. The documentary shows glimpses of Kanye's softer side, moments where he openly expresses love, admiration, and a longing for his daughter to see him as a hero. In one vulnerable scene, he says, "I love you. I don't want you to think I have to be perfect. I just want my daughter to love me the way I want to be loved." These words, coming after such explosive moments, reveal the duality of Kanye, the man capable of creating chaos in one breath and speaking with heartbreaking sincerity in the next. Still, the film does not shy away from reminding audiences of the controversies Kanye has stirred over the years. From outrageous remarks about entire communities to his infamous comments about Beyoncé's children, the documentary revisits moments that fans and critics alike have found unforgivable. One scene even touches on his remarks about Beyoncé's youngest son, a statement that continues to haunting and raise eyebrows online. Instead of avoiding these issues, the documentary confronts them head-on, almost as if Kanye wants to reclaim the narrative rather than allow gossip and headlines to define it. What becomes clear throughout the film is Kanye's obsession with control, or perhaps the loss of it. His public persona has long been tied to defiance, refusing to bow to industry pressure, refusing to stay quiet about politics, and refusing to conform to the expectations of fame. But in Whose Name, the cost of that defiance is laid bare. We see relationships strained, friendships tested, and family ties pulled to the breaking point. At times, it feels like Kanye is trapped in a cycle of pushing people away while simultaneously craving their approval. The inclusion of behind-the-scenes moments from events like Saturday Night Live provides context for why Kanye often feels misunderstood. He believes he is constantly being silenced or attacked, and rather than backing down, he doubles down, elevating his defiance into a personal mission. His Superman metaphor, the idea of wearing a cape and refusing to be controlled, captures his mindset perfectly. To Kanye, compromise equals weakness, and submission equals defeat. But for the people around him, that mindset creates an environment where conflict feels unavoidable. By the time the documentary reaches its final act, viewers are left with more questions than answers. Was Kanye brave for showing us these moments of raw humanity, or reckless for exposing his most chaotic sides to the world? Is he seeking redemption, or simply enjoying the spotlight, no matter how controversial? The film doesn't tie things up neatly because Kanye himself is not a neat, easily defined figure. Instead, In Whose Name closes with the same mix of brilliance and volatility that has defined Kanye's career for decades. It's a project that forces viewers to sit with their discomfort, to grapple with the contradictions of a man who can be both visionary and destructive, vulnerable and combative, all within the span of a single conversation. What lingers after the credits roll is not just the chaos, but the complexity. Kanye West is not simply an artist, nor just a celebrity. He's a cultural force who refuses to be contained, and this documentary is a raw testament to that truth. Whether you walk away feeling sympathy, frustration, admiration, or disbelief, one thing is certain: Kanye has once again succeeded in making sure the world is talking about him, and he wouldn't have it any other way.